Hello, and welcome to a short little series. Not really short, but I don't know. Something I do in my free time is watch a lot of anime because I'm a loser. And so, also something I do in my free time is I write reviews for those shows. So my plan here is I'm going to make real quick, I'm just going to read the reviews I've actually written already. And then I'll throw them up on my YouTube channel because why not? They're fun. But there are shows that have already been out for a long time, such as my subject for today. I watched all of Sword Art Online and every single thing. All of it. Except for like the OVA stuff, but nobody cares about that stuff anyway. Like nobody fucking watched Extra Edition and cared. Okay? It's just a recap of the show with some beat. I think it's a pool. Some pool scenes thrown in. I've seen it. Yeah, but I'm not going to go over that because I didn't watch it again. But I did recently go through all of Sword Art Online, and I might as well give my thoughts on it because I did write them out. So here we go with this will be a series. I've done all 8 or so. It's all the movies, all the shows, all the movies, all the everything. So we'll just go ahead and go through that. So starting with Sword Art Online. So, okay. There's not really much I can say about this show at this point that's not already been said. The show's been analyzed and picked to death. But I'm gonna, talk about it anyway because why not? This show, especially on this most recent rewatch, has had me very conflicted. For the first half, while not written expertly, for the most part was still satisfying. It had a goal that it set out to do and it completed it, but it had a lot of problems. Most come down to the execution of said goal, but for the most part pretty good. The idea of our character finding romance in an unexpected location of a death game that he's been trapped in, the B plot being trying to escape said death game, is compelling. It did those things. It did it for the most part all right, but it had some bumps along the road, and most of the gripes I had are pretty borderline. They're nitpicks, and like the biggest one I had was pretty much surrounding our romance because that's our kind of A plot. And the time spent with Asuna is quite longer than the other girls. None of the other girls, while being obviously shown as love interests, don't really get any time besides Asuna does. I mean, I know she's the main squeeze and everyone loves her and she's awesome. But, I kind of wish the other girls would have gotten their due a little bit more. Some of them can be interesting, or at least to prop them up as better rivals than what they are now as just flat one-dimensional characters pining for our mans. But Kirito's the GOAT, I guess. They're there to fill the roster, and I guess the side characters of Klein, and also the other side characters of Klein and Agil. They're barely even really present in the story. I don't know if they're in the light novel or not, but yeah. Beyond that one issue, I really only have one other major issue, and that is the end of the story when Kirito, spoiler alert, kills Heathcliff to end the game. I do think it's actually fine to subvert the expectations of the audience and end early. So, Aincrad's supposed to go from floor 1 to floor 100. They end on floor 74. I think that's a solid, subversion of expectations. They're moving along pretty, decently through. It's been a few episodes, several episodes / chapters or whatever. And then suddenly, Kirito's like, fucking brain blast! And can just, decides to try and assassinate Heathcliff, which he finds out that man's an immortal object, and, finds out that man's Akihiko Kaiba. Which is pretty swag, pretty cool. But to be honest, I don't think it was truly intentional. For that reason, I feel like what happened with Reki Kawahara, I think he kind of ran out of material and didn't really know what to do with Aincrad in the story at this point, so he just decided to end it. It felt really, really rushed. It felt super rushed, and it felt, you know, a bit forced. Kirito just suddenly has his fucking brain blast, and he's just like, that guy's evil. It's like, really? I mean, come on, like, whatever. And that's pretty much the only two issues I have with the first part of the show. Now, if you watch Sword Art Online, you know, dramatic effect, pause for a minute. If you watched Sword Art Online, you know the second half of season 1 is fucking dog shit. I mean, it's fucking bad, man. It's ass. It's straight poopy ass. I don't know what happened. I don't get it. It's ridiculous. My God, the quality of the writing just takes a fucking nosedive here, man. Asuna, while being kind of like, you know, she's there. She's in the story. She fights. She's cool, I guess. She's just, you know, fucking relegated to being a damsel in distress. Now the princess in the castle that Mario, our, you know, Lord and Savior, Kirito Mario has to go through and save. Yeah, he has to go save her. And so, you know, all of her agency in the story is gone. We get weird incest plot with Suguha being in love with Kirito when they're siblings, but then not siblings, they're cousins. But then, like, Japan is weird and, like, cousins are treated different. I don't fucking know. I watched the dub. She calls him cousin. I think that's a bit weird. And then you get, like, the massive plot holes in the fucking story at this point, like, where Suguha doesn't understand, or not understands, but doesn't know, like, Kirito's screen name. I mean, as a person who's been a gamer for years, and who has a sister, she knows my screen names, at least the one I use the most frequently, which is Quatin. That's the one I use the most. At this point, I've flipped between a couple, but Quatin has been my main one. That's been my Xbox Live account for like fucking 10 years. And she knows that. If you asked her, she could probably pull that information out of her brain somewhere. So, you know, that's just wild. And then also, like, the biggest thing that really bothers me is the fact that Kirito was able to complete his be completely anonymous, and the fact that, yes, he's the one who defeated Akihiko Kaiba and became, like, the savior of Aincrad. It's insane that nobody knows that besides, like, the survivors of SAO, but then nobody turned around and told anybody. Like, he gets recognition from, like, some people, but then it doesn't make any sense why his sister wouldn't know that, and how his gamer tag wouldn't be published everywhere. There's no way. It's just impossible. Like, somebody who was in the room, because the room had like fucking 30 people in it when he killed that guy. Fucking Klein and Aegil, and not Elizabeth, she wasn't there, but Klein, Aegil, some other, the entire assault team for Sword Art Online was sitting there watching as he fought Kaiba, beat death essentially, because he got stabbed and killed but then undied, and then fucking, you know, killed Kaiba after that. They were all watching. You're telling me all 30 of those people were just like, no, we'll keep it under wraps for swag, dude, we fucking love that guy. Fucking all Spider-Man 2, like, no, we'll keep it a secret, it's chill. Like, dude, nobody knew who that guy, like, in Spider-Man 2, nobody knew who fucking Peter Parker was. They all saw his face and it's just like, whatever. They didn't know his name. But it's like, you know, in this, they have his name and his face. I mean, fucking, like, whatever. But that's just that. That's, yeah. I mean, and then we get to the issue where Reki Kawahara has this big problem where he just, I don't know why he starts doing this, and it's something that just persists through the entire rest of, like, Sword Art Online. For whatever fucking reason. I don't get it. I really, really don't get it. It's something that bothers me to the fucking ends of the earth. Is pretty much every villain from here on out, bar 1 or 2, is just a rapist. I don't know why. And it's like, yes, I understand, like, someone who is a molester man, evil, is like, yeah, that's bad and we don't like that. obviously. But it's just like, why are all of them like this? Why? What? Do you not know how to fucking, like, write a villain? You wrote one before. Akihiko Kaiba wasn't like, that guy wasn't a rapist. Why are all of the rest vapid? Whatever. But yeah, Sugo, the main villain, he decides to be evil and gross and try and brainwash Asuna and molest Asuna and all this thing, but like, whatever. It's just comparing him to Akihiko Kaiba, who had some kind of like plan, some kind of Machiavellian scheme or whatever, and was pulling the fucking puppet strings or whatever. It just would have been, it's a real step down in quality of villain. It's just the guy who's just comically evil, really doesn't have any goals beyond, I'm gonna marry this girl and molest her forever. It's like, what? Why? What? Why do you, why? What? I think he wants to, like, get, like, her, I think what his actual goal was to become the CEO of Rect, which I think the company was named, and he wanted to then turn around and, no, he wanted to develop brainwashing and then sell that to the Americans, I think, is what his goal was. Which, I mean, USA, let's go. But I don't know. It's just, it felt very forced and one-dimensional once again. I mean, it sucks. It's just sad. The second half of the show really dragged down the first. The first half probably would have been a 6 or a 7, depending on how nice you are. And it really drags it down to a 4 or a 5. And what sucks? The worst part of this is that it's not even the worst of this show and how this series is going to get. It's not even the worst bit. So, as I go through and, do these reviews and finish them off, stay tuned because, we're going to season 2 and beyond. And, I'm going to give this season a 5. It was an interesting watch to go back through, especially since it's been about, I think it's been about 4-ish years that I watched it. And this time, at least, I watched it 100% sober, unlike the last time. So, it was interesting. And I'll give it I'll definitely give it a 5. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Stay tuned. We'll get you season 2 here pretty quick. Later.